You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots, you know, the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeater. Welcome back, Damien Weston. How are you, sir?
I am doing great, Ron. Thank you for having me again. Yes.
I'm glad to have you. Let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. Celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Today we get to say thank you. It is National Homefront Heroes Day. Homefront Heroes Day honors millions of civilians past and present who provide support to service members from the home front. You know, it takes a village. So when our men and women are out there fighting, having that support at home, I'm sure, is a big benefit right there. Today is also National Moscato Day.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I like wine. I don't know if they call Josh, is Moscato even called wine? I don't. Although, you know something, I did do a segment for many years on the radio program, and I had a wine connoisseur come on. He's a judge at the LA International Wine Competition, and he came on every single Wednesday, and we had Wine Wednesday with him. And you know, I'm a simple guy. I know 3 things about wine, and I guess Moscato might fit in. So the 3 things I know about wine is I know how to use a corkscrew. I am an expert. I know if I like it or if I don't like it. And he used to say, you know, Ron, that's the most important 3 things there are to wine. There is something for everybody. Moscato, I'm sure that's something for somebody, just not this somebody. And today, having beaten anorexia, we're just going to stick with National Butterscotch Brownie Day. I don't think you have Moscato with butterscotch brownies. Because I don't think you have Moscato with anything, but that's just me. Let's move right along. The question of the day, I know we had one here. What was the make and model of your first car? Make and model of your first car. Put it in the comments. If you're listening to us live, put it in there. If you're listening to a replay, put it in there as well. What was the make and model of your first car? Chevy Caprice Classic. It was a boat, but, you know, it got me where I was going. Dad's hand-me-down, so, and I got to use it as long as I was allowed. You remember the make and model of your first car, Damien?
Oh, yeah. I got my dad's hand-me-down as well. It was an old Ford F-150, the primer gray, beat up, but it was great.
It got you where you wanted to go.
And 4 wheels and the engine. So.
And it gave you a little freedom.
That's right.
What was the make and model of your first? Josh, did you put yours in there for us? Make and model of your first car? You know, some people save up for them. I know that I was one of the fools. So, of course, you know, nowadays people wait. Nissan Sentra, okay. That was a little more economical than my Chevy Caprice Classic. But nowadays, you know, in my day, Damien, you might be the same thing.
Yeah.
Is the right was on your birthday, on your 16th birthday. You didn't care about anything else but going to DMV and getting your driver's license.
100%.
Now, Josh, you too. Okay. Oh, now, Josh, you're the same age as my son, so 3 of my boys, not one of them was that on their agenda for the first day of having their on their birthday. Not
Well,
one.
so I'm actually going through that. My youngest is 16, just turned 16 May 1st. So I thought, we're headed to the DMV.
Right.
No, actually, in California, you've got to wait the full 6 months. So
Ah.
now he's got the date set.
Now he's got the date.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to get my 29-year-old to go get his license, so I don't have to drive him everywhere. But as they say,
It is what it is.
yeah, it is what it is. Hey, let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. We've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 162 points. S&P 500 is up 12.5. NASDAQ is up 18.5. Oil is up another 2 cents a barrel. And the 10-year Treasury, that's up not quite 1 basis point, 4.489. Call it 4.49 is the yield on that 10-year Treasury. And I got to do some fact checking here. We got to do some fact checking. So, I love listening to politicians. Not really. But I did listen to the president yesterday giving us another one. I don't know whether he's lying or demented or both. Right? So here's the issue. He comes out yesterday and he's making a comment that, first off, he tells us that he's created more jobs than any other president in history. Well, there's only been 2 presidents that I know of that have gone through pandemics. One president shut down the economy. The other president got the benefit of opening the economy and calls it those are jobs he created. Well, that was not jobs created. Those were jobs that just came back because the economy was reopened. So we're going to give him 5 Pinocchios on that. Then he comes out yesterday and says, well, inflation is doing much better under him. When he took office, it was at 9.1%. Well, he doesn't quite remember, I guess, when he took office, because we hit 9.1% in June of 2022, and he took office in January of 2021. January of 2021, inflation was at 1.4%, Mr. President, not 9.1. Your policies got us up to 9.1, and now we're at 3.5. So I got to do a little fact checking there. I know the mass media does not believe in fact checking this president, this administration, but on Ron Siegel Radio, we do. Then we hear yesterday, I don't know if you saw this one, Gavin Newsom.
Such an idiot.
Yeah.
Such an idiot.
Okay, so
Such an
he's
idiot.
standing out there on the Golden Gate Bridge talking about how great California's economy is and how we are setting all-time records for tourism. Okay, maybe. Let's do a little fact-checking, Governor. So because of the Biden administration policies, our inflation has gone sky high. If we adjust for inflation, our tourism is down 14%. So let's just do a little fact checking here. You can make stats say whatever you want them to say, especially if you're a politician. Just throw that out there. So maybe the governor needs a little help with math class. I'm just going to say that. It's crazy watching what some of these guys are just amazing. Do we even want to look at this? No. I'm going to tell you when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Top 2 reasons to consider a newly built home. How to get something off your credit report. And I just noticed today, again, you're not going to hear this anywhere else, but the first-time unemployment claims went up about 10% from last week. But maybe we've got a solution. Maybe we can talk to Damien Weston about someplace that somebody might want to go if they want to get a job. And I think there's a potential event coming up, and we're going to tell you all about that. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, This 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I've been telling you about our simulations on the Home Select program. Yesterday, 1.39% effective APR, 1.39 effective APR, 30-year loan. Think about that one. What are you hearing out on the street? But let's take a look and see OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. What did rates do yesterday? They tell us only the rate, not the APR, not points paid, points received. The number you put in the mortgage calculator that you get at ronismylender.com. The number you put in the mortgage calculator to figure out what your payment is. Yesterday, 30-year conforming up 7.06. 30-year jumbos were down 7.248. 30-year FHA was up 6.857. 30-year USDA 6.823. That was up in the best loan on the market for our veterans. 30-year VA loan 6.566. And we thank our veterans every single day. If you want my thoughts each morning about the market, the mortgage market, go to rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. I send that out. No cost to you. You just need to go in there, rsrmarketminute.com, and we'll send that out to you as early as the data allows. Let's see what's going on today. That was all yesterday's information, not the market minute, but that was yesterday's information. Today we're looking at the 10-year Treasury is up. I'm sorry, the S&P 500 is up 13.8. 10-year Treasury down 1 basis point, 4.49. Mortgage-backed security, the bond is up a little bit, up 6 basis points. When the bond goes up, interest rates go down, but that's not really enough to really move the needle. 6 basis points is not going to move a whole heck of a lot. Why? Well, some of it's got to do with things we've been talking about on Ron Siegel Radio. You do not hear them anywhere else. So buy now, pay later. Have you heard of that? Well, unfortunately, it's getting way, way too popular. I talked to you a little bit about that yesterday and about the delinquencies of it yesterday. Today, we've got a report from Bank of America Consumer Checkpoint. Liz Everett, head of Bank of America Institute. Spending up 0.1% year over year in April from 0.3% in March. 8.5% of their customers had a buy now, pay later transaction in the month of March. Now, they've got 69 million customers. So that means 5.865 million of those customers used a buy now, pay later. And we're looking at it, 50% of them were lower income consumers. Now, I don't know how you can do this. Think about this. And I can't fathom how this is even possible. They look at 0.5% of their customers are what they call heavy users. Not like me when you talk about heavy. We're talking about using very frequently. How do they define heavy users? 20 or more times in a month. 20 or more in a month. That means like every day. They're getting a new buy now, pay later. Every day. How could that be? Almost 10% of Bank of America customers, which has 69, used it again at least once a month. How do you do it every day? I mean, that's more than I shop on Amazon. That's more my wife shops on Amazon. Right? But we pay for it all the time. Buy now, pay later. And we've got, 40 million people across the country. Now, Bank of America has maybe a 20% market share. There's the 5 big banks. Just throw it out, divide by 5. How many people are using this buy now, pay later? It does not show up on credit reports, and the delinquencies are rising. So it just baffled me when I saw this report that 20 times or more in a month. It seems to me if you use it like 2 or 3 times or more in a month, wouldn't that be a heavy user? 15 times, isn't that a heavy user? Like every other day, wouldn't that be a heavy user? Initial jobless claims measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time rose 22,000 to 231,000, highest level since August of 23. Breakout finally for the metric. They've been using the exact same number over and over again. So maybe the Bureau of Labor Statistics, maybe they're done with the BS numbers that they've been giving us all along. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. Yes, they are the only one with the Home Select program. rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. Get it from Geneva Financial. Let's chat this morning. Damien Weston, Western Medical Training. He's here, and Damien, I love what you're doing.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
There's so many, we like to bring on people. I've been saying that we're in a recession. I know the Economic Research Board, who calls recessions, they've taken as long as 6 years to make those calls historically. But, we start seeing that the logistics managers index now is falling off a cliff. We saw that the the architectural numbers are falling off a cliff. We're getting to the point where that the economy is slowing down. Probably, they're going to tell us that we went into recession in October at some point. You know it. I know it. We all feel it. Inflation is killing everybody. But you've got this area where the one area of the economy, and I should have looked up this number, but medical is one of the areas of the economy that's still growing.
Huge. And the need, as you know, is projected to grow even further through 2030 and beyond. So we the problem is that it takes so long to get educated. And, now we've got more troubles in the schools anyway, so we're not going to go into that one right now. But how are you helping people get into the medical world and helping, because you look at 8, 10, 12 years to get a degree in medicine. Yeah. Well, the first thing is it's got to be fast and affordable, right? I mean, that is the generation that we're living in. So all of our programs, all of our cohorts are designed in a very economical scenario. All of our cohorts are less than $2,500 in less than 6 months in length.
Wow.
So pharmacy tech, certified medical assistant, certified nursing assistant, EKG, all of those programs are available. And most of them are available hybrid or online. So the classroom is without walls, truly, Ron.
So the big question becomes, because so now you've taken out the issue of education, but one of the things that we look at all the time is just all these people go and they get a degree. Underwater basket weaving happens to be a big one, I guess, right now, and you can't make a living at it.
Yeah.
Can you make a living at some of the things you're talking about?
Yeah, so that's the other, I would say, real positive is that our graduates are coming out, and minimum wage for healthcare workers in the state of California has gone up to $23 an hour, soon to be $25 an hour next year for those.
That's better than going to McDonald's.
Absolutely. So the cost of their education truly can be, recouped in less than a 2-3 week period of time, which is what we're trying to say.
Wow. So we don't have to wait for the president to give us the unconstitutional rebate of
no. And what I would
loans.
say is that our school does not accept the federal funding for a reason, because most of the schools across the country, our certifications run the same curriculum, the same national testing for, as I mentioned, less than $2,500. If we were to take the federal funding through the FAFSA, those programs are now upwards around $20,000.
$20,000
for the same national testing, the same curriculum. We have better graduation rates, certainly not burdening our graduates with the debt of a entry level certification.
And that's the big thing right there is, if you're going there with debt. I just looked at a family just last night, and they had like 7 different student loans, and they're like $1,500 a month in student loan debt.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big burden on a family.
It is. And it's one of the reasons why we've chosen not to go the road of FAFSA at this point, because it's our passion that we bring our students a reasonable cost for their education. And if we can do it, we should do it. And that's really where the passion for Western Medical Training Center lies, is getting our students the education they need in a fast and affordable manner.
So are there a lot of different vocations, or do I have to say, okay, I can't handle blood,
Yeah.
right? Especially my own.
Yeah.
Right. So do I have to, is it only something like I got to be able to draw blood, or I got to see blood, or?
No, actually, we're pretty fortunate in the fact that we are diversifying our cohort offerings. Today we have pharmacy tech. So if you want to get into the medical field, we have a national partnership with CVS, Walgreens, some of the bigger ones. We just signed a national agreement with Concentra Health Clinics. So our students literally can study anywhere online and get the lab and externship experience across the country. So whether it's, if they would like a pharmacy tech or an EKG, which is non-blood related typically, and then we're also expanding our cohort offering. So one of the things I wanted to share with your listeners is we're excited because coming in June, we are launching healthcare sales certification, which is the first in the country, Ron. And it was birthed out of
healthcare sales.
Healthcare sales. By the way, in the state of California, on average, healthcare sales earns on average more than $90,000 a year. So this is a real opportunity for listeners to invest in themselves. If they've ever had a passion, gift of gab and would like to get into medical sales, it came from my own experience because there's no school for that, Ron. Nobody teaches you about, Medicare guidelines. Nobody teaches you about Medicare reimbursement, value-based care, anything of that nature. And I thought, well, why not? Why do we not have this available for the public? And so that's what we're going to launch. And it's one of our new cohort offerings. And you don't have to like blood in order to do that one.
So what are you doing there? I mean, because wouldn't each of the companies, if I go get a job in healthcare sales, isn't the company itself going to train me in that?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So it depends on where their entry level is. So durable medical equipment, anything within the home health, hospice, skilled nursing, assisted livings, those typically have their own entry level, but they're often leery of taking risks on somebody who doesn't have that experience. So if your listeners are looking to change careers, or if they're, a young adult looking to get into healthcare sales, unless you have experience, most of them aren't going to take the risk on you because you don't have your network, you don't have experience, you don't know the Medicare guidelines. So this course is designed to equip our students in a 6-week format, in an entry-level opportunity to give them the information they need to go out there and procure a job. And we're going to help with that. So I've got networks and externships set up across the nation. This isn't just a California opportunity. So this is a hybrid learning that our students will be able to take advantage of.
And what does this cost to learn this?
So we've got a new entry level that's down to $1,900. So
wow.
For just $1,900, they can get into medical sales, and I will partner with them in their externship and job placement services as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna, Josh, we have a link for that, don't we? There we go. Josh is ahead of me. rsrlinks.com/WMTC. That would be Western Medical Training Center. rsrlinks.com/WMTC. If you want more information on that and their event that's coming up, go right there. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, top 2 reasons to consider a newly built home, how to get something off your credit report, all that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down, sure. We might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Top 2 reasons to consider a newly built home. When you're planning a move, it's normal to wonder where you'll end up and what your future home is going to look like. Maybe you've got a specific picture of that house in your mind, but unless you came into the process knowing you want to buy a newly built home, you may not have pictured new home construction. A trusted real estate agent can help walk you through these 2 reasons you may want to reconsider that. Number 1, adding newly built homes could give you more options. There are 2 types of homes on the market, new and existing. A newly built home refers to a house that was just built or is under construction. An existing home is one a previous homeowner has already lived in. Right now, the inventory of existing homes is tight, but there may be options for you on the new home side of things. Data from the Census and the National Association of Realtors, NAR, shows that newly built homes are a bigger part of today's housing inventory than the norm. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feeds, you're seeing a couple of charts, or we're going to have a couple of them to show you. More newly built homes to choose from right now is the first chart from 1983 to 2019, the last normal year in the market. Newly built homes made up only 13% of the total inventory of homes for sale. But today that number has climbed to 33%. Rest assured, after over a decade of underbuilding, builders aren't overdoing it today. Even with an increase in new construction today, there's still a significant housing shortage overall. But for you, the uptick in new builds can be a game changer because it gives you more options for your search. Number 2, newly built homes may be more affordable than you think. You may still be wondering if a new build could really be an option for you. If you've previously written them off because you thought they would be out of your budget, consider this. The price gap between a newly built home and an existing house is shrinking. Here's why. Builders are going to build what's in demand, and they know people need more options right now, especially ones that are smaller and potentially more affordable. So they're focusing on building smaller homes at lower price points. Another graph for you shows the price difference between new and existing homes is shrinking as that happens. Price gap is the chart there. Median sales price of a single-family home newly built is in blue if you're watching us. Green on existing homes. LendingTree explains, quote, and be careful. Don't go to LendingTree unless you put in a bogus phone number or you like hundreds and hundreds of phone calls. Quote, in the past, newly built homes have been much more expensive than existing homes, but the gap has been getting smaller recently. In some places today, you may find that the cost to build versus buy is roughly the same, unquote. And an article from CNBC says, quote, while new builds are still sold for slightly more than existing homes, the price gap has significantly narrowed, unquote. Not to mention, some builders are even offering price cuts and mortgage rate buy downs now to sweeten the deal. Today, there are many reasons new builds may be worth considering. Other buyers sure seem to think so. As Freddie Mac says, quote, as the supply of existing homes for sale remains low and home prices continue to rise, more buyers are choosing to purchase new homes than in previous years, unquote. Just know that buying a newly built home is not the same as buying an existing one. Builder contracts have different fine print. So partner with a local agent who knows the market, build a reputation, and what to look for in those contracts so you have an expert on your side to help you explore this option. If you go in to look at the newly built homes without your agent, do not give them your real name, phone number, or email address. Go back with your agent and then give them the real information. If you go in there and give them your real name without your agent will not be able to represent you without having to charge you on the side for it. So bottom line there is take your agent with you so that you get the guidance you need. If you want to find out what builders are doing in your area, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let's chat. That is the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continuing our conversation, Damien Weston, Western Medical Training, is with us. And we're talking about jobs and opportunities. I just looked during the break. Last month, there were 170,000 jobs, I believe is the number that was created. 170,000 jobs created. 98,000 of them, 98,000, I think is the number. Let me get the chart back here on my fingers. I guess I can't do that. 98,000 were in healthcare services.
Just last month.
Just last month.
Just last month.
Right.
Yeah, the last statistic I heard, and this was somebody pontificating in front of Senate, said we lost roughly about 250,000 caregivers at the bedside due to the pandemic. The projected need is somewhere in the range of 400 to 500,000. So you do the math, Ron, that's close to 1 million caregivers short that we know of today that we're going to need. And then you start to really apply the math and say, okay, if those caregivers are taking care of an average of 10 patients a day, whether it's a clinic, a skilled nursing home, assisted living, on average, they're going to care for 10, literally millions in need today that we don't have. So it's a great industry to get into if you're looking for a career opportunity, if you're looking to change careers. It is something that has been near and dear to my heart. And when you think about the patients that we get to serve, I think at the end of the day, there's no better career.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. So I just found the numbers here. 175,000 jobs, according to the BLS, added for the month. 95,000 of them are education and health services.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, though, because I'm a big capitalist.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're that short on based on the need, one would think that the comp would be going up. Are we seeing the compensation going up?
So in certain areas, I mean, again, I just mentioned, state of California, right or wrong, Newsom has taken the minimum wage for healthcare workers in the facilities as of this June up to 23. As of next June, it'll go up to 25. It's Senate Bill 525, I believe is what it was. But those are small increments, to be honest with you, because, one of the things we saw through the pandemic was the mass exodus from the bedside. We saw nurses, caregivers really say, you know what, I'm done with it. And it had to do with compensation, but it also had to do with how we cared for those clinicians that were caring for our loved ones. And most of what I hear today from the nurses and from the caregivers at the bedside is they just need to feel a part of the team. They need to feel respected. They need to feel honored and supported in what they did through the pandemic. And we've got some gaps to fill there.
Interesting. So you mentioned 2 or 3 different things. I know the EKG tech, and you mentioned the blood suckers, I think.
The pharmacy. Well, we got pharmacy tech. We've got
phlebotomist
EKG,
or whatever.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
We're working on it. X-ray tech is
that
on
was
the
what I
way.
said,
We have another program we're working on, which is a dietary manager in healthcare, and that one
dietary manager.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that one is actually gaining some real traction because there's not a whole lot.
People are eating up that off. They're eating that one up.
That's literally.
Okay, so that's kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different, varieties. So I'm not just having to look at one thing.
You can get into healthcare, and as you mentioned earlier, if you don't want direct patient care, there's a lot of support services within the industry, whether it's HR, office administration, all of those positions can take care, janitorial services. Those are all critical needs within the industry, and your listeners can take advantage of those minimum wage opportunities in the state of California today.
And there's some other ones. I mean, I know that just unfortunately because of my own experience, when my mom was on hospice, the delivery people, right, that brought out all the supplies that were going to be needed.
That's right. Typically, those will come either in a what they call Medicare home health or hospice delivery model. You have private duty delivery model. And then those are some of the nuances. When I talk about healthcare certification and sales training, those are the nuances that we need to impart to the listeners who are interested in developing, because at the end of the day, nobody teaches the Medicare part A, B, C, and D, what benefits are tied to that. Many of your listeners don't even know that through their Medicare Part A and B, they have services that they can get within the home. And those are some things that we're going to explore with your listeners as they explore the opportunity for business development.
That's a great one, just because, I had Jill Takahashi came on the program, and she does sell Medicare services. And one of the things she talked about is, that they get like $50 a quarter or something for, just for over-the-counter medicines. And that the seniors can get gym memberships is included. And a lot of people don't know these things.
Yeah, they don't. And it's interesting because I used to work with a gentleman who would say, we put more effort and education into our kids' college tuition than we do our own retirement or understanding our Medicare benefits or our insurance benefits. And so I really encourage your listeners, there is a wealth of support and services available, whether it's through a Medicare Advantage plan, whether it's through direct Medicare, A, B, C, and D. Those are the services that you need to educate yourself on, because when you need it, you're going to need to be able to access the funding source for it.
Well, and like the key to those things are they're not the same for everybody.
That's right.
That's the big issue. Is so many people look at it and they say, okay, well, my neighbor's using, this, I'm going to get that. Well, that might not be the right service for you.
That's, Ron, a personal story. My grandmother selected a Medicare Advantage plan because it gave her a pair of glasses a year, a free pair of glasses. And I said, well, Grandma, do you have any medication? She goes, no, I don't take anything. Literally the only thing that she was getting through the Medicare Advantage was a pair of glasses. And there were a lot of other benefits to staying for her on a primary Medicare plan versus a Medicare Advantage. Not everybody should do that, and I'm not advocating that, but having that knowledge of why and when and how is really important.
And the beauty is, I think you said that this is a $90,000 a year job.
So medical sales in the state of California, the average is $90,000.
Well, the beauty is in Medicare, you're not even paying for it because Medicare pays the salesperson or the insurance company.
That's exactly right.
So you can go out there and sell something and say, here's my service, here's what I do for you. And oh, by the way, you don't have to pay for it. Somebody else is going to pay. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, how to get something off your credit report and more with Damien Weston. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. I talk a lot, same as normal. So we're going to have to save the story for next week. We will go through how to get something off your credit report next week. But I do want to remind you, if you've got more than 60 days worth of unsecured debts that you're not able to pay, give us a call. Go to rsrdebtfree.com. 2 solutions for you. If you've got equity in your home, maybe you want to look at using some of that to get rid of all those debts and make your household budget more affordable. And I know you've got a 4% mortgage. You don't want to get rid of that, but your blended household interest rate is over 7 or 8 or 9. So what really are you paying? You're just trying to fool yourself. I'm just going to ask you the question. Might not be for you. Maybe you like paying more money, but give us a call to explore it. If you don't have home equity, our friend Chris Corrales, he does have a service that'll help you get out of debt in most instances, 5 years or less. They negotiate the interest so that you don't have any interest payments. Good service there as well. Give me a call, 800-306-1990, or go to rsrdebtfree.com. That is Your Credit Matters, rsrdebtfree.com. Continue our conversation. Damien Weston is with us, Western Medical Training. They've got an event coming up. It's, what is it, the 15th of the month?
Yeah, so just next week, Ron.
Okay, so go to rsrlinks.com/WMTC. You can get registered for it. What's it cost for the event?
Nothing, actually, and I'm really excited. Thank you for allowing me to share this. This event is one of the first of its kind. It's a community symposium focused on addressing some of the major pain points in the workforce shortage and in the community. So we are in partnership with San Diego Housing Commission. We've actually been able to take about 25 homeless or housing challenged youth, ages 18 to 26, off the streets. And Ron, in less than 22 days, we're getting them educated and on their feet and in a career that is
22 days?
22 days. So I have one of the students who shifted to our CNA program, which is a 22-day program for certified nursing assistant. She came out of that less than 60 days prior. She was homeless, living on the streets. She now has a passion and a career. She got a $4,000 sign-on bonus and is making $25 an hour. So when you think about what we can do for a very realistic opportunity for our communities, I wanted to bring people together. And San Diego Housing Commission has been a phenomenal partner of ours. And we're excited to bring community members together, help solve the deepest issues within our communities. For less than $2,500 in 6 months, we can change lives.
That's pretty amazing. So $25 an hour, if my math is right, that's what, $53,000 a year, somewhere around there?
Yeah, 28. Yeah, 28.
I mean, that's a lot of people aren't making $53,000 a year.
And I got to tell you, the smile on her face, she is so proud of herself, and we're of course proud of her, but those are the stories that we're getting to weave together, which is really taking community impact to the next level. And this is real solutions, not only for the workforce shortage, but also for the homeless and the housing challenge issues that many of our communities across the country are facing.
Well, there's a lot of people that are going to have to come to the realization that they've got to get re-educated.
Agreed.
And there's a lot of people right now because, and I'm not getting political in this session, but this segment, but that we're seeing there's a huge number of senior citizens who retired who are now having to go back to work.
Well, and you even mentioned it earlier, the shift in the pandemic shifted our world in a pretty significant way, but the shift in workforce opportunity is what's driving really the need for that entry-level education. And there's no reason why, when you think about the CVSs, when you think about the large organizations that are in desperate need of caregivers, we can help solve this.
Well, I know I had to get some medicine last week, and I mean, trying to get at CVS, I mean, they're just not open.
Oh yeah, no,
and I mean, this is inside of a Target store, and they're not open.
That workforce shortage is real, Ron. When I think about the number of patients that aren't going to receive the service, and this is why that symposium to me is so important, is because one entity can't do it alone. But if we bring the key stakeholders together, and I got to tell you, the panel is packed. We have housing, we have community health services, we have support services, we have senior leaders from many of the organizations that are going to help us address not only what we can do today, but more importantly, let's get some action items together to bring real change into the community, into the workforce.
Where's it going to be at? How do we go to it?
So you can get to it right from the link on our website. So you can go to the link through the Ron Siegel Radio.
Okay, rsrlinks.com/WMTC.
There you go. Next Wednesday, it's a half-a-day symposium, so 2 to 6 p.m.
Where's it at?
It's at the Salvation Army right there in El Cajon. There's directions on the website.
Okay.
And it's free. We would love the audience in attendance. It'll also be a live stream. So I'll get the live stream up there. Anybody across the nation can join in and participate.
And I'm gonna throw something at you. I never even told you this before. My very first job, way back in the last century, was actually as a pharmacy tech.
Is that right?
But it was a much tough. I think it was a tougher job than it is today.
Yeah.
because we had to be able to read the doctor's writing.
That there's a whole test on that, Ron. I don't know if I could pass. No.
Well, from what I've seen now, I don't think the doctors even write a prescription.
No,
it's all electronic.
It is all electronic.
And our biggest challenge back then was we didn't have the pill counters were only used for certain things.
Yeah.
So you had to be able to count to 5.
Yeah.
Because you'd count to 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever the number was, and put it in a bottle. But because I was not a pharmacist, I couldn't put the label on the bottle.
There you go.
So I put the label on top of the bottle, and the pharmacist said, "Oh, okay," boom, and he put it on there.
Yeah,
to be compliant.
I love it.
Pharmacy tech.
Pharmacy tech, and
this is in the
it's
70s.
a growing program for us, and we're excited about it. I think there's a lot of people, as you mentioned earlier, who would like to get into healthcare but aren't interested in doing direct patient care. Pharmacy tech is a great opportunity for them, and literally in a few weeks, and I think ours is $1,200 for our pharmacy tech. It's a great opportunity for people to jump in. Here's the options as well. You've got national certifications. So if you want to get into the pharmacy tech world and get a national certification, you can do that. If you're not a great test taker and you really just want to get the curriculum and the job opportunity in the state of California, as long as you have 120 externship hours, which we can help provide, you can actually go and become a pharmacy tech through the state of California and finish up on the curriculum.
Okay, now you've really shocked me here. Because the state of California does not require the licensing, something that the state is not. We better not say that too loud.
Agreed.
I mean, because California likes to regulate everything.
Everything. Yes, sir.
Wow. So how many different curriculums do you guys have roughly?
I think right now, and we're getting, as I mentioned, we're getting ready to launch a few more, but we've got about 8 or 9 different cohorts that your listeners can choose from. All of them are in different modalities. So you've got both in-person learning, you've got hybrid, which is instructor-led twice a week. And then you've got fully online opportunities. If you're a great online student and you want to go take our pharmacy tech course without an instructor, you can do that. We have many students who are choosing that path, graduating successfully, taking the national boards, and away they go.
It's just amazing when you think about it. So there's all these different opportunities, and then there's people that are sitting on their butts at home right now saying, I can't find a job.
So, Ron, this is where I get really passionate, because in our partnership with San Diego Housing, we went into this really kind of interested in the response. I will tell you that we have now 25 students in our cohort. We've partnered with them for over 80 students. Again, these are housing challenged or homeless youth who've raised their hand to say, I'll get in the fight. I want in the healthcare industry. But more exciting, there's hundreds more who have raised their hand and said, I would like an opportunity. Ron, I need businesses and partners who are already giving their sign-on bonuses, $3,000 and $5,000 sign-on bonuses. Take that money, invest in a human being, invest in a student, a young adult who has a hand raised to say, I'd like an opportunity. And we can change lives for less than $3,000 in 6 months.
Well, think about this concept, because you just gave me an idea. And I know, Josh, we only got about a minute left.
I know.
So here's the issue. If you can go get a credit card for $3,000 and you go through the course in 3 to 6 months, and get one of the credit cards that has 0 interest on it, and then you get a $3,000 to $5,000 signing bonus and pay the credit card off.
Yeah.
And you've just financed your education. You don't have to worry about a student loan.
0. And you're in an industry that gives you a great career path. I started as a CNA at the bedside and ended up in the C-suite. There's nothing saying that your listeners today can't start a great career and, to your point, have 0 debt.
Entry level at $50,000. What the heck? That sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Yeah.
If you want more information, again, go to rsrlinks.com/WMTC. rsrlinks.com/WMTC. Get registered, go to the class, or watch it online from the comfort of your home with a little Moscato if that's what you like. And get educated, get a job, get out there in the world and be productive, and quit listening to all these people that say you can't do something, because with a little effort and a little desire, you can do anything you want to do. This still is the greatest country in the world. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, and as we always ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
My boss just pushed me over the limit.